But in all fairness to the Oilers in that game, even though the Whalers played a strong game, the Calgary Flames were coming in for back-to-back games starting the next evening.
The Whalers outshot Edmonton 6-1 in that overtime. As Joe Ranford is out to handle the puck, he moves it around to Joe Murphy. Messier's line opens up the game, and the Edmonton captain backhands the puck in deep in the Whalers zone, and it's Sylvain Cote. Checked by Messier. The pass to Krieger. He'll play it back to Ladouceur. Messier is in there causing trouble. He knocks into Cote as Ron Francis lifts the pass out of the zone. Big Jeff Bukaboom, who goes 6'4" and 215, is back, trailed by Krieger. Messier, third in the league in scoring with 84 points, is held up by Francis. Ron Francis lobs it back in deep. Kevin Lowe on the move for Edmonton. The pass is well behind Messier. It carries the length of the ice. And as the puck carries through the goal mouth, icing is waved off. Here's Ferraro starting it in. Checked by Huddy. Mikhail Anderson speeds into that corner. Steve Smith catches up to him. Kevin Dineen gets the pass from Ray Ferraro. Ray has it back again. Cuts in front. And the puck is still loose. Finally, Ari Curry gets it away to Vladimir Ruzichka, native of Czechoslovakia. That's a Tikkanen stick handles in. Curry leaves it for Steve Smith. He couldn't get much of a shot off as Ferraro caught up to him. And the puck is frozen for the whistle. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Hartford Whalers and the National Hockey League and is intended solely for the private non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, retransmission, or other use of the pictures, description, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of the Hartford Whalers, the NHL, and Sports Channel is prohibited. Announcers on this broadcast are selected by Sports Channel and approved by the Hartford Whalers.
Take a look at Rick Lee, who has dressed 7 defensemen and only 11 forwards tonight. Look a little more in this rookie, Vladimir Ruzichka. He's played 4 games as we look at him waiting for the draw. 3 goals, 2 assists, and -3. To tell you what type of player he is, very good offensively, but kind of lazy coming back. That's the line on him. Great hands. They say he's got the hands as soft as melting butter.
I guess defensively, he really hasn't caught on to the system put in place by co-coaches John Muckler and Ted Green.
6'4" and a big guy.
Originally a Toronto Maple Leaf draft pick, and it's been a complicated road for him to become an Edmonton Oiler. But he was signed in December and arrived here just after the Whalers were in Edmonton. He actually came to Alberta January the 10th. Bill Ranford holds up the puck for Steve Smith. There's the pass out to Yari Curry. It bounced away to Charlie Huddy. Grant Jennings takes over. Steve Smith is back. Oilers have another Smith, Jeff Smith, no relation to Steve, on their defense. Ruzichka couldn't get to that puck as the Whalers hem in the Oilers for the moment. Steve Smith with the errant pass taken by Joel Quenneville. Joel backhands the puck in deep. Quenneville playing in his 4th straight game. He's coming off a fine +3 performance against Chicago on Saturday. Here's Huddy. He'll chip it in deep in the Hartford zone, and Quenneville has plenty of time to go back for it. Dave Tippett is on left wing. Sylvain Cote with a pass stolen by Ruzichka. His pass is tipped away, and Jeff Smith will play it in deep in the Hartford zone. Sylvain Cote has to hurry. Tippett picks it out to Ferraro. Peter Klima's checking up from behind. Ferraro cuts in. Jeff Smith poked the pass away. Kelly Buchberger's on the move. He has Klima racing into the zone. He was met on the poke check by Quenneville. Tippett rubbed out by Randy Gregg as Ferraro moves to the corner with Buchberger. Puck is still up for grabs. Ed Kastelik poked it away, but Klima gets it back. We've played over 3 minutes of scoreless hockey here in the first period. Jeff Smith with a drive that's tipped into the crowd by Ulf Samuelsson.
You know, if the weather didn't suggest different, well, actually it suggests the springtime a little bit, Rick. You'd think this was the first game of a playoff series, as each team is very tentative, and they're really not going after the other team. A lot of neutral ice action, but not much happening.
Ronnie Francis's line is on against Craig McTavish, Dave Brown, who let the shot go, and Martin Jalina, fine young prospect, only 19 years of age. Whalers move the puck to center in Francis. He's closed off by Jelena. Bukavu. Now as McTavish carries it into the Whalers zone, he'll take on Samuelson. The pass in front goes around to the corner as Verbeek took down his man Jelena, and Paul Stewart will send Verbeek to the penalty box for interference at 3:44.
Let's watch Pat Verbeek get tied up with Jelena on the left of your screen. And actually, Pat, it seemed he did a pretty good job up to the last second, but he got the stick hooked under the arms of Jelena, under the arm of Jelena, and took him to the ice. We'll get the interference call. A fine line to that call. It seems that the player, in this case Pat Verbeek, really thinks that he did a pretty good job, and for most of it he did. But once that player goes to the ice, he's the favorite to draw the penalty.
Oilers on the power play, 9th best in the league at 21.2% efficiency. The Oilers 9th best at killing the penalties. They'd like to see a string of 10 straight games with a power play goal against them. And tonight, Mark Messier with a pass ahead for Jari Kurri. He deals it to Ruzicka, who's been particularly effective in the power play. And Dean Evason clears the Hartford zone. He works with Dave Tippett in front of Bradshaw and Randy Ledesur. Messier's in some trouble. Tippett is in there. And Steve Smith gets it away to Kurri. Messier maneuvers in. Now to slip it to Peter Klima. That was read nicely by Shaw. Kurri gets the pass back to Klima. Shaw got a piece of that pass, and it bounced off Evason and out to center ice. A minute remaining of the penalty to Verbeek. We're scoreless. Played nearly 5 minutes. Kurri bothered by Mikhail Anderson. The pass bounced off Randy Ledesur. Messier has to turn back, and Deneen is right there to get in his way. Nobody can find the handle just yet. Curry's pass is picked off, but Anderson will slide it down the ice.
The Whalers very aggressive in the neutral ice area, and they're really getting on the fast-skating Oiler forwards, not letting them give them a chance to get started.
The pass hit Paul Stewart. Out come the Oilers now with only 25 seconds left in their power play. Steve Smith's drive is deflected away by Ulf Samuelson. Grant Jennings can't clear. Randy Gregg holds the point for a moment. And finally, Mikhail Anderson gets the job finished. Todd Krieger comes out to join Deneen in front of Samuelson and Jennings. Esa Tikkanen across to Randy Gregg. Fires toward the net. A save by Sidorkovich as Craig Simpson landed in the goal mouth. Murphy is crunched in there by Jennings. The penalty ends, and the pass just escapes Verbeek. He catches up to it. Verbeek with a shot. A save by Ranford, and he'll hang on. 14:07 to go in the opening period. The Whalers and the Oilers.
Well, the Whalers have a chance for their first power play of the evening. Watch number 17, Krieger, who breaks out with this Verbeek. This is going to be 2-1, and Jeff Smith at the right of your screen takes him down. Well, watch this shot, and well, we're going to see it here as we look at Jeff Smith. But I couldn't believe the reaction of Billy Ranford after that shot by Verbeek. It almost took his head off, and he just was still in his crouch in a little bit of shock.
There's some question as to whether Ranford could start tonight. He was hit in practice a leg with a shot, and thought his string of 18 straight, now 19 tonight, would end. Here's Babbage with a shot, and it's deflected away by McTavish. As you see the numbers on the special teams, Edmonton among the best in the league at killing penalties. The Whalers have fallen off on the power play as it's Messier shorthanded looking for Lowe. He was bumped by Babbage at the last instant. McTavish, who has 4 shorthanded goals, gives the puck away to Kevin Deneen. It's poked back to Jeff Bukavu. Babbage controls it. Oilers are second in the league with 12 shorthanded goals. Young with a pass to Kevin Deneen. He maneuvers in. Wants to set things up back to Babbage. Verbeek's in front. Young shoots. He scores!
You know, Bill Ranford has a bad knee. That's what we were told before the game. A bruised knee. He took a shot in practice yesterday. And let's watch the way he plays this. Kevin Deneen will drop it to Babbage, and Scott Young will finally one-time it. Now watch the position of Ranford when it goes in. He's like almost turning sideways. Turns sideways. You see right there? And I think that means that he is maybe possibly afraid to get hit in that injured knee. You know, he might have got out there too soon and had to somehow, control his position, but he went down in a very awkward position, and he might be a little ouchy with the one knee.
Dineen and Babbage assist on the goal by Young. Scotty now has a 6-game point streak with 9 points in that span. He's really perked it up offensively. Whalers trying to keep the pressure going as they have the 1-0 lead. Ed Kastelik works that corner against Charlie Huddy. Tippett is dumped by Adam Graves as Kastelik struggles in there, works the puck free. And young Graves, who came from the Detroit Red Wings in that big trade November the 2nd, struggles to get to center, and he'll play it in behind the Hartford net. Samuelson is crunched by Kelly Buchberger. And Buchberger works it free. Samuelson ties him up. Jennings moves the puck along. Ferraro takes the hit from Graves. The puck is still loose along those boards. And Graves came up with it for a moment. The Whalers get it back. The pass ahead to Tippett. Ferraro races in. Huddy's back with him. It's taken back by Steve Smith. Peter Klima, big windup, and the shot is blocked by Quenneville, who took that on the right foot. And he's smarting a bit as Scott Young makes his way up the ice. That's the shot go. It's gloved by Ranford. He'll have to throw it aside. Evanson is there to center Young. Shoots! Saved by Ranford with Pennyworth on the doorstep, and the Oilers clear.
Well, Ranford got himself in a little trouble there as he threw the puck to one of the Whalers, and it ended up in Scott Young's stick seconds later, and he drifted it, and Ranford showed up to make the save. It's funny the saves you can make when you're under pressure, as he has given the puck away. As you look at Bill Ranford, doing a terrific job for the Oilers. You see, he gave it right to Evanson, and Scott Young with the turnaround. He didn't look, he didn't play that too gingerly. He doesn't look injured in that one. Sometimes when the goal goes in, it makes you feel a little funnier, you know. You feel different after a save than you do after a goal.
Scott Young has that blazing shot going here in the early moments tonight. It's 1-0 Hartford. We're just past the 8-minute mark of the first period. Don Krieger comes up with a puck. Drops it back to Sidan Cote. Randy Ledesur lobs the pass ahead. As Verbeek and Jeff Smith struggle in there for it. Krieger is pulled out of there by Messier as Verbeek has it. Krieger, a cut in front. Muscled by Messier once again as Verbeek takes over. Messier plays it back to Randy Craig. Here's Murphy on the move. Messier calls for the pass, gets it. The backhander is steered away by Ladouceur. Murphy is checked by Francis. Messier pokes it in front, and Cote grabs it. Pass is by Krieger. It's taken back by Bukaboom. Sidorkovic leads it for Ladouceur. Round to Nhl Anderson. He takes the big hit from Bukaboom. All-star Kevin Lowe on the Oiler defense with the pass in that line change situation. The Oilers come up with it. Anderson cuts in. He scores!
Cal Anderson having a terrific year offensively for the Whalers, something he never had in Buffalo, because quite honestly, I don't think he got the chance. He's got better hands than he was ever given credit for. In this particular case, he takes a tough pass from Kevin Dineen and just flips it right through the legs of Billy Ranford, and that's a sign of a goal scorer, a guy that knows to go through the 5-hole. And this is exactly what's going to happen here. Kevin with a little pass. He's got the legs anchored there and braces himself, getting the puck away from the defender, and just flips it through the legs of Billy Ranford. And I do not think we're going to see Billy Ranford for the whole game tonight. That's just a little tip, maybe.
Well, the Oilers got mixed up a little bit because the pass came right to their bench, and they were in the midst of changing up. No one knew which guy should touch the puck.
No one really wanted to touch it and have a penalty, so they all backed off. Someone's got to be okay.
Oilers to this point, Jerry, seem to be beating that high tempo of the Oilers pretty well. Gary Curry hands it to Lowe, who got the shot away, and Peter Sidorkovic makes the bad save. Ruzicka back for the puck. Ruzicka, I should say. Here's Curry. Sedin lost his stick. And it's Tikkanen maneuvering in. Curry backhands it in front. It's taken away by Babbitt. Shot for Anderson. It's a 3-on-2 Whaler rush. Ray Ferraro to Mikhail Anderson. Back to Ferraro. He waits. He shoots. A save by Ranford. He just reached back with that right arm and made the stop.
That was a spectacular save, no doubt about it. An important one for the Oilers, obviously, trailing 2-0. But great passing by the Whalers, and that's certainly an indication of how sharp you are when the passes are on the money.
Whalers lead it 2-0 with 9.5 to go here in the first period. Now comes Buckberger with a long drive, and it's stopped by Sidorkovic. He drops his stick for a moment. Huddy fires wide. Lima's all over Scott Young. And Lima comes up with a puck. Randy Ledesser double team. Young taps it out over the blue line, and Buckberger takes it. Cuts away from Dean Evason. Samuelson steals. Whalers on another rush. Evason looks to drop it. He does. Samuelson takes it. Finds Evason. Cunnyworth fires in front. It's tapped away by Steve Smith. Young drives it in, and we will have, well, icing is waved off now by the linesman. Are we going to have one or not? Lines waved it off. Murphy called it. 8:39 remaining here in the first period. It's 2-0 Whalers.
Well, the Oilers are going on their second power play. Joel Quenneville right here. He gets a hold of Dave Brown. I might have given the penalty 2 minutes for interference, or the net 2 minutes for interference rather than the holding call to Joel. It seemed that the net was interfering with Dave Brown's attempt to get at the Whaler defenseman.
Whalers are shorthanded for the second time. Gary pointed out during the first Oiler power play, Hartford was very aggressive in killing off the penalty. Messier is held up by Shaw and Evason, and the Whalers clear the zone. The pass eludes Craig Simpson. Sidorkovic is out to handle it. Joe Murphy knocks it down. He's checked by Tippett. Simpson and Ladouceur are involved in the battle, along with Messier, who feeds Randy Craig. Here's Messier shooting, and it's blocked and cleared away by Randy Ladouceur.
I don't think that hurts, as Messier was really close to Ladouceur. The closer you are, I don't think that much chance for injury. But I'll tell you, Ladouceur went down way before Messier attempted to shoot it. I couldn't believe that Messier shot it at that time.
Simpson couldn't hang on to the blue line, and we get the whistle for an offside. Our next Whalers telecast on Sports Channel will be this Saturday afternoon. The Whalers will travel north to battle the Quebec Nordiques. You can catch all the action live at 2 p.m. The Whalers and the Nordiques this Saturday on Sports Channel.
I think the Whalers are far ahead of the Nordiques. But still, anytime there's a Whaler-Nordique game, because of a few playoff series, they're exciting games.
They are, and top players for the Nordiques obviously been involved in those matchups, along with head coach Michel Bergeron. He gets them fired up for the Whalers.
You know what, Rick? A lot of people, they say that, like, for the Bruins and the Whalers, why haven't they become a great rivalry? One of the reasons is that they've never played in the playoff series. But we might see it this season.
If the season were to end today, that would be the situation. Here's Messier with a pass. As the Tikkanen speed is broken up by Mikhail Anderson. His speed has been very evident here in the first 13 minutes of play tonight. 30 seconds left on the Quenneville penalty. Jari Kurri, who surpassed the 1,000-point plateau earlier this month, gets the puck back again. He'll shoot it in. Ruzicka lets it go to Tikkanen. Tikkanen plays it back to the point. It's Messier, steps around Dineen, fires in front, and Samuelson reached out to poke the pass away from Tikkanen. Quenneville leaves the box. The Whalers have killed off another Edmonton power play as Kurri sends it in deep. It's still 2-0 Whalers. Less than 6.5 to go here in the period. A pass bounces away to Kurri. Ruzicka Plays it back to Curry, over to Huddy. Lets it go, and it's blocked by Quenneville. Oilers, though, keep it in the zone. Messier had it poked away by Joel Quenneville. Samuelson hits Dineen. Kevin drives it in on Ranford. The Oilers will change up. Huddy plays it to Buckberger. And it lifted away for Beek on the steal. Goes to Krieger. Krieger circles. And the pass is broken up by Klima. He's rubbed out by Sivan Cote. By Murphy. The linesman found himself in the middle of that. Adam Graves tries to play the puck in. Francis had it knocked away by Klima. He is met by Sivan Cote. Buckberger drops it back to his defense. Stolen by Francis. He shoots, and Ranford got a piece of that. Steve Smith just handed the puck over as Graves plays it up the boards. Graves goes to Buckberger with a backhand. The shot just went wide. And Verbeek quickly heads up ice. Francis and Ladouceur are with him. The drop pass for Francis. He fires it. They score!
The Whalers with a perfectly executed 3-on-3, believe it or not, as they cross center ice. There is 3 Oilers. You can see them right there, and 3 Whalers, but all the Oilers went towards the net, allowing Francis to move in. Ranford with the glove save. He still got his glove off. You know, if you don't catch that glove, that puck in the webbing, it's not only going to hurt, you're not going to catch it. This goes right off the palm, I'm sure, of his hand, right to Pat Verbeek. I think what happened there, Rick, was the forward coming back. It was a nice 3-on-3. And if the forward does not stay with his man, in this case, Ron Francis, it screws up the whole play. When that happened, the left defenseman came for Francis. Or else Francis, could have walked in closer, and that left Pat Verbeek open.
It's a 3-0 Hartford lead. A shot by Jelena is gloved by Sidorkovich, and he quickly covers the puck. Under 5 minutes to go here in the first period, and Hartford has jumped out to the big lead of 3-0.
You see the time left in the first, 4:48. I think it's very important that the Whalers don't let any against in this next, in that time. It's not important that they get one themselves, as they have a fairly comfortable lead right now, but the goal in this last 5 minutes, especially since the way they've been playing with Roberto Weber.
Kevin Lowe makes the pass to Brown. And it's broken up by Grant Jennings. He's belted by Bukaboom, and Ranford moves the puck to Lowe. He's hurried by Francis, who steals, running centered. Broken up by McTavish. The Whalers are all over the Edmonton Oilers in this first period. Here's Krieger. Tucks it in front. Francis with a try and stop. The puck is loose, and so is the net, and we get a whistle.
I think Paul Stewart, who I feel is a top young official in this league, I think he's bringing a little kind to the Oilers right now as they trail 3-0. Todd Krieger with some good hard work. Watch 34. How does he end up right here on top of Ranford and taking the net off? That is from behind by Dave Brown. Now, I'm not so sure that boarding counts when it's against the net. If that was against the boards, he would have certainly been gone, but
certainly just as dangerous there, if not more so.
Did you see the shape of his body once he got hit?
Now the Whalers, with the shots at 9-5, that really doesn't indicate how they've dominated this game.
Not at all, Rick. The goals do. Sidorkovich with one tough save, and that was against Lowell when he walked in point blank. Still, you have to make them.
Ferraro throws it in front, and it's knocked away by Craig Simpson, and out for Joe Murphy, the lead for Messier. And the pass skips off his stick, allowing Dineen to catch up to him. Craig Simpson winds it in front. Murphy trying to pull the trigger quickly. Quenneville was on him. Messier's alone. He scores. Mark Messier gets the Oilers on the board, and it's 3-1.
You wouldn't think a man as strong and as powerful as Mark Messier would have had those hands, but watch here, as Peter Sidorkovich is a little premature in going after Messier. He'll be already committed right there. He's gone, and Messier with a tremendous move and some zip on that backhand, even though he's off balance. But great hands by Messier. Watch Sidorkovich right here. He was already out before the pass was made, and when the pass got to Messier, he was committed. And you don't mess with Mark Messier. Situations like that. I don't know, as a goaltender, I don't know what you would do. Stand there and wait for Messier to accept the pass and no one there. and try it that way, or else try and beat him to the punch. Well,
Murphy and Simpson get the assists at 16:06. And it's a 2-goal Hartford lead. With just over 3.5 remaining in the first period. Dean Evison will join Jerry at the intermission, so stay with us for that. And we get a whistle for an icing called against the Whalers.
still thinking about that goal by Messier. I mean, as a goaltender, and I know it's, like you say, 20/20 hindsight. I mean, do you just wait there with a perfect pass to Messier and hope you can beat him 1-on-1, or you cheat a little bit and try and get the edge on him?
If you're me, I would have been frozen, but I would have had my eyes closed, too.
You've been frozen right from the national anthem.
Got that right. Murphy reaches for the pass, and he just poked it away from the on-charging Randy Cunneyworth. Here's Evison cutting in. He freezes Smith. He shoots, and it's saved by Ranford. Young started the Whaler onslaught offensively with a power play goal. He'll have to regroup with his line mates at center. Randy Gregg's back to the puck. Messier looking to wind it up, and here he comes. He will be Jerry's second intermission guest this evening. Messier with 17 points now in his last 6 games, including tonight. Francis to Ulf Samuelsson, and his pass was off the skate of Charlie Huddy, as the Oilers once again had a little difficulty at the bench. Ruzicka lost control of the puck. Krieger was back to help defensively. Steve Smith fires toward the net, and Krieger got a piece of that. The puck bounces to Huddy. Francis takes over. Ronnie's pass is deflected into the Edmonton bench by Yari Curry. 2:13 to go here in the first period. Look at co-coaches, John Muckler, and he used to be known as Terrible Teddy Green.
Teddy's not so terrible. He's a pretty sincere guy. He really loves his coaching game. Anyway, let's go back to a Dean Evison chance as he fires around the left defenseman, Jeff Smith, and lets a good wrist shot go. Almost beats Ranford. Dean Evison shooting the puck a lot better this season than I can remember in the past. We'll have to ask him that, hopefully, if I can remember. Slow goaltenders sometimes don't remember those things, but...
only have 2 minutes and 13 seconds to remember, Jerry.
And you won't, and hopefully I won't be chewing gum.
And Jennings is pressured in deep. The pass bounces away to Ferraro, and he'll clear the zone. Well, Evison has scored 13 goals already this season. He had 11 last year, 10 the year before. And he had a couple of 20-goal seasons in his first 2 years in Hartford, coming over from the Washington Capitals. Ruzicka with a pass for Curry. He leaves it for Steve Smith. Ferraro stayed with him, and Mikhail Anderson comes up with a puck. He headman to the knee. Leaves it for Mikhail. He cuts toward the net. It's batted away. Ferraro has it on the backhand. Still has it. Trying to get it in front, and Steve Smith dug it away.
That was a dangerous play, Rick, because Ruzicka obviously doesn't know much about defense. He was just getting over center. He could have ended up with a break.
And the Whalers are whistled for the offside. Ulf Samuelsson with a pass for Scott Young. Puck is knocked down by Messier. Klima has to stride back for it. It's 3-1 Hartford with a minute to go, first period. Bukaboom is rushed in there by Evison. This line has had a good first period forechecking, as pretty much all the Whaler units have had in the first 20 minutes tonight. Randy Ledesser is double teamed, looks for help. Samuelsson had it taken away by Klima. Murphy shoots, and it's blocked by Randy Ledesser, and Cunneyworth gets it away to Scott Young. And with a long drive that's kicked away by Lowe. Evison heads into the corner. Murphy's tripped up by Cunneyworth, and he'll go off with 28 seconds remaining in the period. And if you look at the summary tomorrow, you'll say, how do the Whalers get a 3-1 lead when they were shorthanded 3 times in the first period? Here's the penalty again. And as Cunneyworth turns back, Murphy gets a step on him heading for the puck, and Cunneyworth just held him up enough to get the penalty. So Edmonton will be back on the power play. Certainly the Whalers are happy with the way they've killed penalties so far tonight. Bill Ranford gave up 3 goals so far in this period. Made a big stop on Ray Ferraro that Could have made it 3-0, and the Whalers could have added to it to make it 4-0. And the goal by Messier has Edmonton back into it here. And the Oilers hope they have calmed down the Whalers' hot start. Ryan Murphy will drop the puck between Dean Evason and Mark Messier, our two intermission guests this evening. Evason has Tippett working with him. Jennings and Shaw on the defense. Messier centers for Curry and Klima. The point men are Steve Smith and Randy Gregg, as the Whalers will send the Oilers back. See the time remaining here in the first period. Curry, rink wide to Gregg. Tippett checked by Messier, but Jennings has the puck. Grant heads for the corner. 3 seconds to go in the period. The puck is loose. Shaw taps it away, and there's the horn ending the first period. So Edmonton will continue with a man advantage in the second period with 1:32 remaining on that penalty to cut. It's at the Civic Center box office, all Ticketron locations, or by calling 1-800-WHALERS. As we start the second period, it's Messier as the Oilers resume their power play. 1:25 remaining on the Cunnyworth penalty for tripping. Tikkanen with a pass. Ruzicka couldn't get to it. Randy Gregg shoots, and it's stopped by Sidorkovich. Ruzicka got to get it in front to Tikkanen. Tikkanen back to Curry. Gregg is parked in front. The pass to him is blocked by Brad Shaw. It's kept in by Messier. Ruzicka rushed by Ladouceur. Messier gets it back again. And we have an Edmonton penalty. It will be Tikkanen lodging a complaint, and he'll be heading off. That will take care of the Oiler power play.
Tikkanen, who was like a one-man gang in the last game at Edmonton, and he's a most underrated player. Doesn't get the recognition I believe he deserves. But King Dean Evason, as you could clearly see, was on the way down before. He's just shaking his head before Tikkanen was anywhere close to him. In fact, this is getting a grin. It's funny how players do that, right? When it's maybe not a very good call. Look at him. I mean, you know what? He's right too. Even the old Judge Wapner, would exonerate him in this case.
You're right about Tikkanen, though. He's got to be one of the best all-purpose forwards in the NHL right now, and he really doesn't get much attention.
He's a crackerjack.
Here's Klima. As Samuelson fell down, the puck was poked away. Babbage takes it as both teams are down a man. 48 seconds remaining on the penalty to Cunnyworth. The Oilers kept the puck on the line. Samuelson leaves it for Mikael Anderson. Benino had a couple of first-period assists with a pass behind Babbage.
The players will be kidding Samuelson on that trip there when he fell there. And Klima will say, what a shift he put on him, and he went right to the ice.
Dean works to come up with the puck again. A pass to Babbage. Gives it to Mikael Anderson. Looks for Dean, and it's gloved away at the Oiler defense by Jeff Smith. Samuelson, the pass, it was blocked. Anderson gets back for it. The Whalers will pick up their second power play chance in 3 seconds. Young scored on the first opportunity. Long drive is stopped by Sidorkovich. And Cunnyworth stays on the power play. Anderson lost control of the puck to Kevin Lowe. Sidorkovich strays to the corner. He'll try to keep it away from Messier. Messier plays it back to Lowe.
I think you have to shoot it to the other end to keep it away from him.
Another powerhouse. Here's Todd Krieger. Gives it to Francis. Money heads up ice. He'll take on Lowe. Steps around him very nicely and just couldn't get it out in front. And the net has been dislodged as Verbeek and McTavish ended up in the goal mouth with Ranford. 30 seconds left on the penalty to Tikkanen.
It's a crazy game as we watch the penalty to Tikkanen. Good move by Francis at center ice. He's playing against one of the best defensemen in the league, but I mean, if you call the one at Tikkanen, you should call that. And that was clearly a hook, as you saw Lowe with the stick into Francis's midsection. You know, what's funny there is the net was off its moorings as Verbeek fell into the net. We heard the whistle, but Mark Messier didn't. He was going 100 miles an hour down at center ice. And who do you think had the white flag of? Peter Sidorkovich saying the whistle went.
saw Francis throwing a few foreboding glares at Paul Stewart for not making the penalty call there. Well, he took on two of the best in the business, got around McTavish, and of course Kevin Lowe, who ultimately hauled him down. Babbage with a drive, it's off McTavish, and the carom comes all the way back to Sidorkiewicz. 3-1 Whalers early here in the second. They have a partial power play opportunity, and 15 seconds remain on it. Here's Francis cutting in. The pass is deflected by Jeff Bukaboom. Here comes McTavish charging back. Young chases him. McTavish scores! Craig McTavish ties for the league lead with his 5th shorthanded goal, and it cuts the lead to 3-2.
Well, this is Craig McTavish's first goal in a long, long time. I had talked to him before the game. He says, I'm not scoring, but they tell me I'm playing good defensively. And here he is killing a penalty. And watch this move right here, as he looks like he's going to his forehand with good speed, and he just stops or slows down a little bit. You see the Whalers skate by it, and I'll tell you how tragic is the shorthanded goal as we look back on the records and see it. I don't think teams that allow shorthanded goals win too often. See how the Whalers respond to this, but a good shift by Craig McTavish, and he is tied for the lead in the shorthanded goals. You mentioned it in the first period, Rick, a very dangerous team, the Oilers, when they are a man short.
Whalers have given up a bundle of shorthanded goals in this month. They scored a lot in December, as the Oilers are back to full strength, and now down just 1 goal as Dineen chops to the puck. It's kept in by Steve Smith. Tikkanen lifts it in front, and Ferraro takes it back. Ray with a pass to Mikhail Anderson. He's stuffed by Huddy. Dineen starts it in. Lays it back to Anderson. Curry takes him to the ice, and out comes Huddy. Ruzicka, the pass off Curry's stick, and it's Jennings back. Leaves it for Shaw. Ferraro tips the pass. Big Ruzicka, who goes 6'3" and 212. There have been some estimates of a sighting of Ruzicka being 6'4", 218. He's a big hockey player, one way or the other. Here's a shot by Young, and Ranford got a piece of it. Another blistering drive by Scott Young. Tikkanen drops it. Here's the shot that's blocked. Cote taps it loose in the corner. Young pokes it along. Adam Graves had it chopped away by Dean Evison, and it's lifted into the Edmonton bench. 16:03 to go in the second period, and the Oilers are getting closer.
Let's watch young Martin Gelinas take a hit or try to escape a hit from Dave Tippett, and he hits the ice. But I'll tell you, this is one-game youngster. He is a player with a good future in front of him. He works very hard from what I've seen, and he's not afraid to muck it up and get in the corners. And you saw how quick he got up and went right after Tippett after that. I like him. He's a very aggressive young player.
Pretty solidly built at 5'11", 195. Young reaches out for that loose puck, and it got away from him. Lanasseur hands it to Evison. Eno makes his move, and Steve Smith. Lima rubbed out by Cunnyworth. Cote's pass. With Huddy taking over, 6:22 remaining in the second period. Hartford's 3 goals came in the first 15 minutes of play tonight. Young in the power play. Anderson and Verbeek at even strength. Messier scored before the intermission for Edmonton. Early in the second, McTavish scored a shorthanded goal to cut it to 3-2. Here's Huddy firing, and it's deflected away by Evison. Graves centered. Sidorkiewicz was wise to that. Steve Smith gives it to Murphy. Lima checked by Cote. Evison. Lima working it along the boards to Graves. He spins in front. The backhander is wide by Steve Smith. And we've got a penalty to the Whalers. It looks like Cunnyworth will be the man to go, as we have an Oiler landing on Peter Sidorkiewicz, and that is Adam Graves.
Well, Adam Graves, one of the players that came from Detroit in the Carson trade, he made some fine moves in front of the Whaler net. I don't know. I really think it's an Oiler getting the penalty. It's going to be Steve Smith. This escapes me. Well, that would be somewhat.
2 minutes for high sticking.
I was going to say it had to be something like that. let's watch this. See the plate of Graves? Now here's the shot. Right there, the stick. You got Sidorkiewicz on top of the head. That must be the only thing I can see right there, Rick, is after his shot, his stick was up there, and he corked Sidorkiewicz on top of the head. And Stewart was right to the left of Sidorkiewicz, and we get a 2-minute high sticking call. And this will be the fifth power play, but the fourth opportunity for the Whalers. It's 4 straight penalties against the Oiler team, which allows the Whalers power plays.
Oilers scored in their first chance on the goal by Young, and of course McTavish has the shorthanded goal in this period. Oilers missed on a 2-man advantage earlier in this period. Young over to Babbage. Looking for Mikhail Anderson. Tapped along to Francis, out to Young. Verbeek is parked in front. Young shoots, it's tipped. And the shot ends up with Jeff Smith. Francis lays it back to Babbage. He tees it up, and the drive is just off of Randy Gregg and deflected over the net. Hang on, Jerry. Young shoots it, safe. Rebound is loose as Anderson is pushed out of there by Jeff Smith. And Stewart halts play. Either he lost sight of the puck or the net is off the magnet.
Let's just go back and watch this original shot. Now right here, you'll see Radford with a fine save. Jeff Smith hacks Pat Verbeek, or Anderson, I should say, not allowing him to get his stick on the puck. But it might have been Radford who was down. That's why the whistle went so quickly. He's slow in getting up. I'll tell you one thing. I think he just wants some sympathy after that shot by Babbage that was deflected. It went from about, how fast they go now? We saw that at the All-Star game, the contest, about 88, 90 miles an hour. Well, that was deflected. It went up to about 160 miles an hour by the time it whipped over this guy's shoulder.
Thought we were going to lose you there.
Well, my heart beats faster, you know, when I see that. It really does.
Really?
You should, when I was playing, you should have seen how fast it went. That and a couple other flaws I can tell you I had at the same time.
1:16 left on the penalty to Steve Smith. Under 5 minutes to go, second period. And the Oilers cling to that 3-2 lead. Francis has a beef with Brian Murphy.
This is the first time I've seen Ronnie Francis get kicked out of the face-off circles that I can remember. I'm sure it's happened this season. But he likes to turn in quickly and use his feet. And Murphy wouldn't let him. Wouldn't allow him to.
Oilers clear the zone. Babbage watched by Jari Kurri. Cross to Young. Kurri and Tikkanen work up front of the penalty-killing unit, backed up by Lowe and Bukaboom. Francis drops it for Dineen. He's muscled in there by Lowe. The pass comes out to Babbage, around to Young. Pushes it to Francis. He tipped it toward the net, and Ranford scooped it up. With 42 seconds remaining on the Oiler penalty.
You know, when you have a power play against the Oilers, you think of one thing, first of all, when you look up at the penalty killers. In this case, it's Kurri and Tikkanen. I mean, you're nervous out there. I remember coaching the Bruins, and you look up, that was Gretzky and Kurri, then Messier. I mean, we tried to take yardage instead of the man advantage, as you see the shots on net. But and I'll tell you, your power play's not the same because you're tentative. You're a little paranoid about both these guys escaping the zone and breaking away. So your power play is not the same.
That was when Mr. Gretzky was in Edmonton, but the threat still remains with the many talented forwards that the Oilers have. As the Oilers clear the zone, 33 seconds remaining on the penalty. Young starts the rush. Verbeek, Ferraro, and Dineen work up front. Dineen cruises in, looks for Verbeek. They'll play it back to Babbage. In deep to Ferraro. Verbeek lost control of it, and it's lifted out to center ice. 10 seconds left on the Whalers power play. Their fourth straight, as Gary pointed out. Young shoots, and he cranks it wide. Babbage tried to gauge that carom off the boards. Wrapped up by McTavish, who's on the steal. He cuts in, he shoots it, they score! Messier on the rebound has tied it with an even strength goal.
Peter Sidorkiewicz is steaming, and he should be. As far as I'm concerned, this is like a shorthanded goal. Everyone quit right here. Now McTavish goes after Dineen. And Babbage, he just, he wants to go to the bench, and he's not covering up right here. He's a little late. McTavish with the fine save, and here's number 11, Mark Messier, with his second goal of this hockey game. But there it is, McTavish and Messier, who are not on the same line, but were out there killing the penalties. And this game is tied all of a sudden.
McTavish gets the only assist on Messier's second of the game, 31st on the season. 16-25. Well, Messier has 86 points this year. He had 94 all of last year. What a year he's had.
I kind of think we'll go past that mark. But that, to me, Rick, was similar to a shorthanded goal. Believe me, it was just some laziness, not from one individual, but a group of individuals, and not coming back to help out. I mean, it was in this case, Messier was the second, and maybe the third, as another Oiler was in the picture.
Boy, from the Hartford fan standpoint, it's a shame to see that lead disappear after all the hard work, and the legs were pumping for the Whalers in the first period, but the lead has vanished.
Well, this is certainly a good challenge for the Whalers. I mean, after blowing a 3-0 lead against one of the best teams in the league, who do you think has the momentum right now? I mean, there's no question about it. As we look at Vladimir Ruzicka.
Pretty impressive, Jerry. Got on to this.
I'm good at names.
Yeah.
Vladimir.
Send over more Soviets and Czechs. You'll be right there with the correct pronunciation.
Yeah, we've got enough. No, we want one more. I think there's one more that we'd like to see.
A rather easily pronounced name, Holick, I believe.
That's right.
Holick? We'll find out when he gets here. Here's Young to backhand it in. Ranford plays it away. Tikkanen curls back for the puck. Andy Cunneyworth on his opposite wing. In for Evason. He's checked by Tikkanen. Out comes Ruzicka. Ruzicka has Curry with him. Tries to muscle his way toward the net. Tikkanen has the puck and he backhands it just wide. Well, he came up late and right behind the wedge set by Ruzicka. I think he's been watching a little football.
When the second and third guy get an opportunity, I mean, once again, someone has got to help coming back. So it's up to the forwards coming back to pick up the Tikkanens and Curry.
Curry overskates the puck. It's a 2-on-1. Dineen and Cunneyworth. Bukaboom's back. Dineen charges into Cunneyworth. He shoots a save by Ranford, and the rebound went wide. It ended up with Bukaboom, and Dineen took a shot at him. Steve Smith takes exception with that.
This is a fine save by Bill Ranford. When Dineen finally made this pass, I thought this had to go in. And you'll see the one-timer, a left-handed shot right here. But Ranford reads it properly, gets the left leg over and makes the save. A little late on the rebound. And you see Kevin with the right on Bukaboom. Boom. That was a good pass by Kevin Dineen. I thought he had painted himself into a corner and wasn't going to be able to get that pass away, but he got it there, and Cunneyworth was good with this shot. Ranford with a good save, and he certainly, I didn't think the way he started out, he finished, but he's a lot sharper now, obviously.
Messier storms in. Murphy gets the pass. He's bumped by Cote. Bukaboom holds the play in for Edmonton, which has rebounded from a 3-0 first period deficit to tie. We have 1:38 remaining in the second period. Mr. Messier should be a happy man when Jerry visits with him between periods. Here's a block by Ladouceur on Bukaboom's shot, and Randy can't get up. I don't think the officials have noted that yet, and now play is halted as Anderson gains control, and Ladouceur is down, and he is in a lot of pain as Tommy Woodcock, the Whalers head trainer, comes out to have a look at him.
Rick, in all fairness, Paul Stewart had his eye on the puck behind the net and on the play. He did not see Ladouceur in the ice. I'm sure he would have blown the whistle. Well, it's tough when the Oilers have control, but we'll see Ladouceur 29 sliding out here. Wow. One thing he did properly was get his upper body away from the puck. This hopefully is just a bruise.
Might be his left leg.
Yeah.
I think as he dropped, it was his bottom leg that caught it. And he is able to get up on his skates, and the big crowd of over 15,000 appreciates his efforts, and he will skate gingerly off to the bench and head for the dressing room. Some, I'm sure, with a minute 23 remaining in the period. Randy Ladouceur, one of those players you don't hear a lot about, but he's in the trenches working and blocking shots. Usually without incident, as we saw a moment ago. Francis on this big draw against Messier. Messier has Murphy and Klima on the wings. The Whalers gain control. Shaw quickly out to Dean Evason. Rink wide pass to Tippett. Francis stays on the ice. Now Verbeek will join him. Pass eludes Messier, and it's driven right back in by Jennings. Just over a minute now remaining in the second period. Shaw to keep the puck away from Messier. Randy Gregg comes across for it. He looks for Murphy. Tippett stepped in there to intercept. He hands it to Verbeek quickly to Francis, and it was kicked away. Jennings gave it up to Gregg. The lead is by Klima. Fedorkovich races out to play it. He mishandles it. Klima throws it in front. It's tapped away by Shaw. The Whalers head up ice now with 33 seconds to go in the period. Francis with a pass across. It's deflected. Verbeek fires in front, and it's intercepted by Gregg. Gregg lifts it out of trouble. Samuelson plays it back to the Edmonton line. Murphy scoops it up, and he'll backhand it in. You see the time remaining here in the second period. Samuelson has to hurry. Pennyworth doesn't see the puck coming as Graves levels Joel Quenneville. A couple of former Windsor players colliding there. Here's Jelena with a shot. He didn't get good wood on it as the horn sounds to end the second period of play. Bill Ranford made
hard to kill the penalties and took advantage of a couple of breaks that the Whalers allowed them to have.
The Francis line opens up for the Whalers. And Randy Ladouceur is on the attack. Backhanded on goal. Ranford with a stop. Ladouceur apparently is feeling much better, leading that rush into the Edmonton zone. Back comes Joe Murphy with a backhander that's wide. And Verbeek has Krieger busting the other way. He speeds it against Randy Gregg. One-hands it on goal. A save by Rand for the rebound by Verbeek is sent through the goal mouth. Francis was checked by Klima, and Ronnie has words with Paul Stewart heading back up ice. Murphy across to Jeff Smith. He's checked by Francis. Graves jumped to the boards by Babbage. Graves just toppled over there as Babbage with a pass off Francis and carries back in deep in the Oilers zone. Oilers get Tippett, Evason, and Young on the ice in front of Jennings and Shaw. The team of Muckler and Green answer with Jelena. Working up front with Messier and Simpson. Jennings drives it up the boards, and it's tipped out to center.
Rick, with the Whalers using mostly only three lines, it's forced Muckler to make a change himself, as he is elected not to play Brown, Buchberger, and Craig McTavish at equal when they're at equal strength, and they didn't see much action in the second period.
Jelena will play it in deep as Jennings is back for it. Right there was Messier. He had it tapped away by Shaw. Simpson is in pursuit. Jennings pushes it ahead for Tippett. The pass will reach Young. It's over his stick. Ranford steps out to play it to Messier, and he's checked by Tippett, who will go to the penalty box as he controls. So the Whalers will be shorthanded.
The last time the Oilers were in the power plays in the opening minute of the second period, you see Ranford with the lead pass to Mark Messier, and Dave Tippett gets the stick into the hand area, and you see it hooking. Good little pass by Ranford. He put it from the place where Messier didn't have to labor for it, to have some speed. Not lose his speed, I should say.
Whalers killed penalties very aggressively in the first period. Edmonton has not had a power play chance since a carryover into the second period. Mikhail Anderson and Kevin Dineen go to work in that Oilers zone, backed up by Samuelson and Ladouceur. And the Whalers are doing quite a job here. Out comes Messier. Gary Curry gains speed. He smoothly skates into the zone, but lost the puck to Samuelson. Hope he backhands to the point. Randy Gregg holds it in. Ladouceur plays it off the glass and out to center ice. Peter Klima looks for Curry. He'll touch it across to Messier. Nice pass to Gregg. Fires in front of tip. Curry on the shot. He scores! Jari Curry on a backhand shot. Well, that's one for the highlight film for the Oilers there.
Wow, that was a great pass by Messier at the right point. He made this pass right here about as hard as anyone could shoot the puck. He drilled it across there, and I tell you, it was parallel to the blue line most of the way. Gary Curry's in front, and you know what? Messier won't get an assist here, but what Randy Gregg did that I liked, he didn't try and drive it through the goaltender or everything. He saw if he got the puck to the front of the net, there would be an Oiler advantage. And a 2-on-1, and right here you see it is. Curry put the backhand in. Peter Klima did a good job in deflecting it to Curry, and they got some skilled players up front. Curry hadn't done much this evening, sort of sleeping his way, dozing his way through the game, but great players like he can do that and get away with it, and all of a sudden show up and get the go-ahead goal.
And the Oilers have scored 4 consecutive goals to take the lead now. As Shaw going to hold off Klima, they both go down. Jennings moves it along to Krieger. Bukaboom was pinching in as Jennings moves it around on the other side, and Francis tries to poke it along. The Oilers keep the Whalers hemmed in. Krieger comes back for it. Francis out for Shaw. Francis makes his way to the puck. He's muscled away from the play by Murphy. Graves throws the big hit along the boards. Francis has the puck, throws it in front, and it's deflected away by Bukaboom. An Oiler penalty is upcoming. Francis centers, and it hit Ranford, deflected for the goal mouth. The extra man is Ferraro. He'll play it in deep to Francis. Gets it back to Babic, lets it go, and it's off Ladouceur, deflects wide. Bukaboom dives to touch that puck. And we'll have an Oiler penalty coming up. The Whalers all of a sudden trail in this game 4-3.
Well, spunky Adam Graves gets a tripping call, and the Whalers will have a chance. Right there you see it. That hasn't happened like that. I don't believe that was Graves. But anyway, he's going to the box. Rick, if there was ever a goal that deserved the third assist, it would have to have been that last Whaler goal, as that was some pass by Mark Messier to Randy Graves.
The Whalers will hope to make that a distant memory if they can get one back and tie the game up. They scored on their first opportunity, but they really struggled in the second period, missing on 4 chances, including a 2-man advantage, and they surrendered a shorthanded goal and another Edmonton score that came right after a penalty. They'll try to get set up here. Deneen, checked by Steve Smith. Messier has the puck. Leveled by Babic as Young skates across for it. McTavish in pursuit. Verbeek ahead for Deneen. Francis back to Kevin, and he could get turned around with a shot. His pass is off Huddy's stick, comes down to Francis. He's held up by Steve Smith. Verbeek to Deneen. Babic back to Deneen. A minute to go on a penalty. Francis sets up in front against Steve Smith. Verbeek walks in, and the goal mouth pass to Young is by him. Scotty plays it back down the boards to Verbeek. You see the time remaining in the penalty. Babic to Deneen. It's off his skate. He's rushed in there by Huddy. Francis is slow getting off. Ranford steps out to play the puck. Gave it up to Verbeek. Chops it in front. And Deneen trying to slap it home, and Ranford caught the puck. The fans were fooled because it was Kevin's stick that bolts the net. 25 seconds left of the penalty. Babic in deep. His shot is stopped, and Verbeek circles the net. Lobs it back to Young. Babic into Verbeek. Flips it in front, and Ranford dives on it to get the whistle. Francis is involved in a pile-up with Steve Smith. And Ronnie is upset with Smith for something that happened earlier.
No, this might have happened behind the net as when Ronnie got up rather slowly. Getting back to that chance for Deneen in front, Rick, you're absolutely right. The blade of Kevin Dineen's stick hit the mesh, and we were fooled for a fraction of a second. We weren't fooled as much as the fans were because we're experts, but watch this right here. The goaltender is out, just getting back in the net. Watch there, you see his stick? And I saw you get up and cheer. Honest to God, I did.
Disgruntled Ron Francis takes a seat on the bench. 6 seconds left on the Graves penalty. Oilers keep the play in deep. Ranford is allowed to step out and play the puck. Now the Oilers are back to full strength with their 4-3 lead intact. Krieger back to Ladouceur, firing, and he sends it wide. Graves with a pass ahead for McTavish. On a circle around Ladouceur, Ferraro helps out defensively. McTavish to Curry, and he blasts one just wide. He was hoping to hook up with Tikkanen. Curry is in there for the puck. He's come to life now after scoring the lead goal. Krieger plays it back to center. Jeff Bukaboom, a former Oiler #1 draft pick, trying to start that rush. Curry's pass driven into the Edmonton zone by Shaw. Tikkanen. Cross to Bukaboom. Checked by Tippett, who was trying to figure out some way of how he was going to bump Big Bukaboom. And Shaw shoots it in. Quenneville reaches for it, and we get the whistle. And now we got a battle with Cunnyworth in the corner, along with Graves. And Randy's trying to throw a left hand in there. Mark Vine says, no, you don't.
You know, I think this whistle went before this confrontation. I think it was an icing call, to be truthful, but the whistle went quickly before these two guys hooked up.
And they'll be escorted to the penalty box. 13:04 to go here in the third period, and Edmonton has the lead.
I thought it was an icing call, but it was an offside call, so the faceoff will be in the Oilers side of center ice.
Oilers will have the Francis line going to work. They logged a lot of time in that second period. Francis almost 9 minutes. And I don't think we're going to see any numbers less than that for them here in the third.
I think we're going to see Mark Messier about the same.
Played 18 of the first 40 minutes. Here's Babish to shoot it in. Gregg is back, pursued by Francis. There's the pass. Simpson knocks it down with a glove, and Messier just stepped into that zone ahead of him offside.
This wasn't a two-line offside. This was offside at the Whaler blue line.
Whaler fans, a real winner knows how to party right. Please use good sense when you drink. Know when to say when. A reminder from Budweiser. Craig Simpson, who had 56 goals a couple of years ago when he first came to the Oilers.
You know, Craig Simpson is one of the most durable players in the league in front of the opposing team's net. He takes a beating and keeps on ticking all the time, and he gets all his goals from that area. I guess where most goals come from, but he's especially successful from in front of the net.
He's had a funny season. He was cold for the longest time, really improved and got things going, and then he slowed down again. He's been scoring in spurts all year. Here's a shot by Young, and it's steered away by Ranford. Messier waits for the pass. It got away from him. Out comes Jeff Smith with a pass to Messier, dropping it back for the point man. It was kept on the line in the opinion of Brian Murphy. Babish takes the puck. Steve Smith drives it in. Babish will try again. Steve Smith from his knees will golf it back inside that Whaler line. We're past the 8-minute mark here in the third. The Whalers had a 3-0 first period lead. They trail now 4-3, and they are whistled on an icing call.
Rick, we have Steve Smith and Jeff Smith for the Oilers. The last time I can remember the pair of Smiths, unrelated, is the 1970 Stanley Cup champions Boston Bruins, Rick Smith and Dallas Smith. I just thought I'd brought it up as we look at Teddy Green. And that team, it's possible we may have a reunion this season, this summer coming up, which will be a lot of fun. I know one of the guys interested in trying to have that. Bobby Orr's home watching, and I promised Bobby I'd say hello to him this evening.
Jerry, speaking of hellos, we've got to pass along a hello to a family that lives in Glen, Montana, watching on satellite. And they say that it's a rural community of 200 people, and the big interest for the townspeople is to watch hockey every night. And we have Connie Stefanik and her children Jennifer and James watching tonight. Their favorite team's the Edmonton Oilers, but they like the Whalers as well, and they catch our Sports Channel games a lot.
Sure.
I'd like to say hello to them.
There's the shots on goal up there, 24-17 favoring the Whalers. Montana, I wonder if that's possible for an expansion team. The Mountaineers, possibly.
They have a big area to draw from.
Yeah, they would. They wouldn't have many people. That,
Look at the Whaler bench. Got to get some life going here in this third period. Well, the Whalers were skating as well as perhaps they have all season in that first period.
Wow, that was such an impressive period. And but when you allow a shorthanded goal, it's nothing really good comes of it.
Whalers trying to come from behind in this important game, not only because they're playing another first-place team and they want to keep things going well at home. They've got 4 on the road after this. You always like to head out on the road with a win.
They're going into some buildings against desperate teams. Philly, Quebec, Montreal, Minnesota. I mean, they're not going to be easy games, and it'd be nice to head into there with a W, a victory under your belt.
Whalers will be home a week from Friday and also Saturday night against Vancouver on the 9th of February, and the Toronto Maple Leafs on the 10th of Saturday night. It'll be a lot of fun. The Maple Leafs in town as the Oilers clear the zone, and Jennings is back. Hemmed in by McTavish, who's done a good job of that all night long. He's playing well defensively, as well as offensively.
You know, he did a good job killing the penalties in the second period, but he's really in a defensive role right here.
Cale Anderson cuts in. His pass is by Ferraro. Ray reaches for it. He's bumped in there by Huddy, and the puck comes loose to Klima. 3-man break for the Oilers. Murphy to Klima, cuts in, he shoots, and it's blocked by a sprawling Grant Jennings, who also got a piece of that centering pass, and it was touched with a high stick by the Whalers. And we get the whistle.
What's happening right now, Rick? The Whalers are not getting many opportunities or second tries because the Edmonton Oilers are just bouncing them off the puck. They're just a little bit stronger right now, and are just using their bodies. And this is the result of a Whaler losing the puck in the Oilers zone just seconds previous to that. And this was a good chance for the Oilers to increase their lead. But the Whalers have got to get more aggressive against this hockey team. The Oilers are just bouncing them around.
Ronnie Francis will be opposed by Vladimir Ruzicka on this draw. Oilers control. Bukaboom shoots, and it's off the glove of Sidorkovich. Out comes Krieger. Lowe had it poked away by Verbeek. He'll lob it in deep. Bukaboom is bumped in there by Krieger. Now Francis joins the tussle back of the goal. The battle for the puck is still raging. Finally, Tikkanen gets it loose. Kevin Lowe, now in his 11th season for the Oilers. He was their #1 pick the year that Edmonton, Hartford, Quebec, and Winnipeg joined the NHL. Here's Francis. Backhanding the pass to the corner. Joel Quenneville follows up, but he sails it over Ranford's head. Tikkanen lifts the pass to center. Quenneville's pass is taken away by Randy Gregg. Samuelson gave it up. Ruzicka cuts in, and as he backed up to try to make a play, we get the whistle of the offside.
We had a little action at both ends. Started out in the Oiler end. You see Bukaboom being run into the boards by Krieger. Francis comes in. Then Vladimir Ruzicka comes in and probably is wondering, what am I doing in there? I'm a centerman from Czechoslovakia. I'm an offensive player. I can't be behind the net. watch through Sichka here. He takes himself offside. And after that play, after the whistle went, Jelena went and scored a goal, made a move on Peter Sidorkiewicz and scored a goal after the whistle. And beat them a little run, and they both got unsportsmanlike, or whatever they call high-sticking and unsportsmanlike.
Here come the Oilers, 2-on-2. Messier leaves it. Graves shoots it, and it's off Sidorkiewicz's blocker. The puck comes down to Babic. He finds Cunnyworth. Gregg drops it back to Jeff Smith. Babic apparently touched that pass. There is no icing as Ladouceur works it around to Babic. Cunnyworth makes his move on Huddy, who played him perfectly. The 10-year veteran heads up ice with Craig Simpson and Messier. Simpson bounces off a check, fires in front, and the pass goes to Evason. Cunnyworth with a big windup and a pass saved by Ranford. 8:38 left in the third. Time now working against the Whalers, who are down 1, and they have not scored a goal since the 15-minute mark of the first period when they made it 3-0. Edmonton has worked its way back into the game, and they've taken the lead. Here's Kevin Dineen on the charge. Lets it go from the angle. It's blocked by McTavish. He'll keep the play moving, but not past Grant Jennings. Ranford leaves it for Steve Smith. He's double-teamed. Gets it loose to McTavish. Steps away from Mikhail Anderson. Joe Murphy has it. We've talked a lot about McTavish tonight, Jerry. I'm surprised at his agility. He's got better agility than I thought he had.
Well, he's got some great shifts and everything like that. And, he got some confidence from his goal in this hockey game. He hasn't scored in a long time. He can dangle. He's got good agility, and he can make some moves. He's capable.
He's on his way to a fourth 20-goal season in 5 years at Edmonton. He has scored his 15th goal of the year tonight.
I'll tell you, the most important thing about Craig McTavish is that he's a player's player is the best way to describe him. All his teammates, from wherever I can remember, love him, and he's a lovable guy and a good person.
Loose puck in that corner. Tikkanen is in the middle there with Krieger and Tippett. Krieger works it away. Samuelson had crept in from the blue line. He'll play the puck to Francis. He winds it back around toward Babic. Throws it in front. It's off Ranford's stick. He now reaches out and covers it. And we get to Lowe and Francis going at it in the goal mouth. Yari Curry steps in there. And Krieger begins to push and shove a little bit, and everybody calms down. Under 7 minutes to go now in the third period. Dean Evason in this face-off against McTavish, and the Oilers control. It's Randy Gregg. Babic holds the fort at the blue line, but Gregg pushes it ahead to Messier. Babic takes over. Curls the pass to Young, fires in front. It's tipped by Babic, and he sits on the back of Ranford as the play moves away and up ice.
Ranford has been very strong at the short sides of the goal tonight. He just hasn't left there, allowing the puck to go through that area, as we just saw right there. And he had to be strong with Dave Babbage coming at you.
Samuelson ahead for Evason. Young with Gregg closing in. Drives it wide of Ranford. Young with a play back to Ladouceur. Knocked down by Jeff Smith. He's trying to muscle Scott Young, who lands on the puck, and Stewart blows the whistle.
Sort of a quick whistle, even though it seemed that Scott Young was trapped with the puck on him. You see Scott say, give me a chance to play it, to keep it going. So the Whalers get the raw end of this deal because the faceoff will be outside. The refs try to keep the puck going or the play going when it's in a little scrum along the boards all the time. But in that case, with guys jabbing and all, I guess there's some positives to having a quick whistle.
I guess when you're in open ice, guys can get at you from a lot of different angles.
Here goes the play by Babbage. Watch, see right there how strong Ranford is at the short side of the net. Of course, where else is he going to go with Big Dave Babbage on top of you? And chanting, let's go Whalers. I'll tell you, I really believe that Ranford, we were brainwashed a little bit that he has a bum knee and he might not play. We'll see how he is and warm up. And he sort of looked peculiar in a couple of the goals in the first period.
He makes a pad save on Dineen here. Shaw keeps the play in. Kevin sweeps it toward the net. Ranford gloves it. He'll have to drop it to Graves. Murphy tips the pass by Huddy. Murphy gets it back again. He's stripped of the puck, but it ends up with Graves. Shaw wrapped up by Klima. Ferraro helps out. Misses Dineen. Steve Smith plays it to Graves. He's checked by Ray Ferraro. Shaw is dumped in that corner as Klima lands on him. And we get the stoppage in play. And they're checking on Shaw's condition, and he is apparently shaken up a bit, and the Whalers now object to that and saying a few things at Klima.
Well, they should.
He had him very vulnerable position.
I don't think anyone knew that Shaw was shaken up a little bit, as this was, he was at the bottom of the pile. You see he's not in there yet, and 32 finally goes in, and Klima's going to play him rather than the puck. I mean, it's tough to see Shaw down there, but he was just off balance when he hooked up with Klima.
He's okay now. Well, the shots in this third period are 7-2 favoring the Whalers. But Edmonton has the go-ahead goal on one of its two shots.
Look at the total shots. The Whalers, if there's nothing wrong with their defensive game, a couple of a shorthanded goal, the Messier second goal, which was they just fell asleep on the play. A power play goal for the Oilers to go ahead, but they've really played pretty sound defensively, not allowing the Oilers a bunch of opportunities.
And that's been the trend over the last 9 games. The Whalers have averaged 24 shots against, and that's got to be very low if you were to average that out around the National Hockey League.
Oh, yeah.
And they're 4-2-3 in that span, but they find themselves down 4-3. At this point in the third period, Curry drops it back. McTavish couldn't reach the pass. Verbeek turns it around to Francis. 3 Oilers are back. Francis trying to make his way around Lowe. Lowe poked it away. Samuelson can't get it in deep. And McTavish lobs it ahead to Curry. Curry looks for Tikkanen. Tips it on goal. A save by Sidarkinen. And a serve. Try to make that save count to see if he can get something started at the other end. Evason. Hemmed in by Jeff Smith. And the pass ends up with Curry. He'll lift it out of the zone and out of any trouble. And Samuelson's back.
If the Whalers ever come back to tie this game or win it, they can certainly thank that save by Sidorkiewicz. That was a great save and a good pass by Curry.
Martin Jelena. And is circled out in front as Gregg cutting in for the point. The backhander is swept away by Sidorkiewicz. Messier muscles his way to the front. His pass is intercepted by Evason. It's a 3-on-3. Randy Cunneyworth. Across to Young. Evason's in front, and he just tips it wide as he tried to deflect it home on the backhand. Shaw. Back to Young. Jennings takes over for the Whalers. 3:19 remaining in the third. Jennings storms in. Ferraro to Young. He shoots and he sends one wide. Well, Young's got the shot going tonight. Cunneyworth. As Ferraro just beat him across that line, we get the whistle to the offside. The Whalers protest, but we'll be back right after this.
Once again, we're going to see the same. Now, here's that pass by Curry to Tikkanen, and Sidorkiewicz reads it well, slides across to stop the deflection. And just seconds after that, Dean Evason was an opportunity to tie this game up as the pass from Scotty Young just went right off the end of his stick.
Steve Smith hurries back with a puck. Dineen is on him quickly. Graves gets rid of it. And Klima deflects it out to center. Babbage comes across. And Murphy controls it, gave it away to Babbage. Charlie Huddy played it off his stick to Joe Murphy. Mikhail Anderson takes it once again for the Whalers, who trail 4-3, 2:39 remaining in regulation time. Whalers pulled out 2 games to this homestand in the final minute of regulation for ties against Boston and Calgary. They've since won 2. Looks like they're going to have to try to pull one out here. Here's Mikhail Anderson dropping it for Samuelson. Over to Ladouceur, and he couldn't handle a pass. Curry's off to the races along with Klima. Samuelson back. Peter Klima shoots a stick save by Sidorkovic. Samuelson regains it.
Curry's a terrific player. He doesn't mess up many opportunities. Klima sort of lost control of that puck when Curry put it on his stick. And he slows down his shot away, but a weak shot.
Well, the Edmonton Oilers have really gotten it in gear since late in the first period. Here's Verbeek with a pass to Krieger. He shoots. He goes!
What a shot by Todd Krieger as it beat Ranford on the short side. Let's take a look at it. Once again, a late goal by the Whalers. Here's a good pass by Pat Verbeek, but watching it from up here, you'd think that Ranford was very much in control of the situation. And a goaltender, a National Hockey League goaltender, should not get beat on the short side. Here's the pass. Let's see where it goes. Wow, plenty of room, plenty of room. Ranford, when he slid across, really did not have control of his angles, did not know where the net was. And once again, a big goal for the Whalers, obviously. What can you say? But the key right now is the fact that the Edmonton Oilers completely blotched up a couple of 2-on-1 opportunities. Klima really didn't get good wood in the last one, and Sidorkovic made a great save on Tikkanen, or it was all you wrote.
Verbeek gets credit with the only assist at 18-15, Krieger's 12th goal of the season. His 4th in the last 3 games. He had 1 in St. Louis and 2 against the Blackhawks on Saturday. Francis pushes it in. A minute and a half remaining now in regulation. Francis is checked by Jeff Smith. Messier works the puck free. They push it ahead to Simpson. Rink wide to Messier, and he's on the move. Shaw catches up to him. Babbage goes to work against Simpson in that corner. Worked free by Graves. He shoots a save by Sidorkovic. But Messier bumped the goaltender. I'll tell you that. You just saw the last chapter of quite a battle between Messier and Shaw away from the play.
It was like Shaw was shadowing him as the puck was along the boards right here. Here's Graves finally digging out what much. This was going on for 30 seconds. Tell you one thing, Peter Sidorkovic, when he saw Big Messier and Shaw, he had a squeeze there, baby. That was a squeeze up. Rick, I said when he made the save on Tikkanen, who knows how important that save was. Obviously very important.
Yes, indeed. Ronnie Francis will be joined by Dean Evason and Randy Cunneyworth. Ronnie would appear is on for the face-off. Samuelson and Jennings are paired defensively.
I'll tell you, they got a break on the change here, as it was Klima, Murphy, and McTavish. And the way McTavish is playing, it's not much of a break, but they were allowed to bring Big Messier back out. This is a strength versus strength in this face-off. How else could you describe it?
Well, very appropriate with the respective team leaders, not only the captains, leading scorers, and the team MVPs meeting on that face-off. Messier in front. Klima with a shot. It's tipped by Sidorkovic, and it's swept away from the net. As Evason will play it down the ice. Huddy gives chase. Cunneyworth in pursuit. Jennings steals the pass. Huddy was decked by Randy Cunneyworth. Might have heard the rumble as Jennings played that puck at center. Here's Scott Young firing in front. It's tapped away by Evason. Ranford reaches down, covers the puck.
Wow, let's watch this, Rick. This is close. I believe this is going to hit the right post after the poking it from front of the net as it goes through. No, I guess it didn't. It was a stick. I'll swear it hit the post from up here. I got my glasses on, too. But a good opportunity for the Whalers. 27 seconds left. Now the positions are changed as the faceoff will be to the right of Ranford.
And Cunnyworth and Huddy are meandering around, hurling disparaging remarks at each other from that hit earlier. And let's look at the history of the Whaler clutch goals. Final minutes and seconds in some cases. Cote with a big goal against the Sabres in a 2-1 victory.
You know, the only bad part about this stat here is you'd like to be in positions where you don't have to score them. Those heart attack type goals.
The Whalers with a couple of last-minute goals to eke out ties to this season. Ronnie Francis has figured prominently on a number of those goals. Scoring one, as you saw, helping out on some others on that face-off. Messier with 20 seconds left in regulation, and a poor pass, but it's taken by Gregg. Out to McTavish, 3-on-2. Here's Messier blazing in to McTavish. Francis dove to tap it away. Ferraro takes over. Great play by Francis. 5 seconds left. Ferraro had it poked away at center. We are heading for sudden death overtime. No wins, no losses, 5 ties at overtime this year. Gregg is back to reach for the puck, and apparently Krieger won that race. There's no icing. The Oilers, though, come back at a 3-on-2. It's Messier with Tikkanen and Curry, and the play is whistled down offside.
It'll be interesting to see how John Muckler uses Mark Messier, Tikkanen and Jari Kurri. I mean, if he had his wish, he'd use him for the whole 5 minutes. But he wants to play Messier right against Ronnie Francis, I believe. I like the strategy of the coaches in overtime. To me, that's where the strategy comes in the most. I mean, to me, you're supposed to try and play your best players as long as they can play. I mean, if you got a guy who can play 5 minutes straight, like a Gretzky might at times, or maybe a Mark Messier, but you have to play him as long as possible. Maybe take your overtime, put them back on, put a second unit on, and put them back on. But they got to play like 3.5 minutes out of the 5.
Mad Verbeek clears that zone. Pass is tipped. It comes down to Francis. Gregg gets it back. He finds Messier immediately. Verbeek lifts it out to center. Kevin Lowe takes it. Tikkanen. Pretty quiet tonight. He scored a couple of goals in the earlier meeting in Edmonton. Francis on the move. The pass is held up by Bukaboom. And Klima. Now Denis steals the pass from Curry. Kevin walks and he shoots. A glove save by Ranford. Bobbled it, but he manages to hang on. Messier and McKenna Anderson begin to push and shove a bit.
Well, Jari Kurri, we were complimenting him through that break at overtime, and he gives the puck away to Denis. Denis with a good shift to the middle and a quick wrist shot. Boy, Ranford has really not snagged anything this evening. He's bobbled him a little bit, but he's been able to control the rebound, to control the bobble. I think Ranford's got a bad mitt also. I don't mean a bad mitt. He's got good reflex. I think he's got a bad hand a little bit. He took a shot earlier, that bullet drive, I think it was Verbeek in the first period.
Well, we have Paul Stewart directing the Oiler bench to get some people on the ice, and Edmonton trying to buy a little time for some rest here, taking their time about it.
Well, he's going to have McTavish in this draw. Let's watch Craig McTavish use his speed here. This will be going against, there he goes.
Ferraro gets involved with him. The Oilers, though, come out with a puck. Here's Graves trying to split to the fence. He couldn't do it, and Murphy very nearly picked up the loose puck. McKenna Anderson in the off wing against Steve Smith. Huddy reaches back for it. Huddy continues on, lets the shot go, and it's played away by Sidorkiewicz off the blocker. Huddy follows up. Ladouceur is pressured by McTavish. Ferraro. And it worked away by Murphy, thrown in front, and it's recovered by Denis. McHale Anderson will shove it in deep, and then Edmonton zone. The Whalers will change up. Cunneyworth is out with Young and Evason. Lowe sends it in down the boards. 3 minutes to go in the game. Pass ahead to Evason. Taken away by Messier. He has Simpson and Graves on with him. The pass to Evason. Cuts it against Lowe. Looks for Cunneyworth. Trying to fire in front, and he was blocked by Gregg. Lowe bounces it through center. Jennings trying to slip it up the middle to Cunneyworth. It's taken away by Simpson. Looks for Messier in front, and it's just out of his reach. Graves lays it back to Messier, broken up by Young. 3 Oilers are back. 3 Whalers on the rush. It's Young to shoot, and it's tipped by Steve Smith. Whalers now get the Francis line back on. Adam Graves will step into one. He'll drive it in wide. Krieger lays it up the boards, but not out. Huddy kept it in. Messier grapples with Samuelson. Messier still has it. Tikkanen muscled to the boards by Babbage, and Francis takes over.
Good aggressive work by the Whalers D.
Francis tucks in. Shoots a stick save by Ranford, who was backing up on the play. Samuelson scoops it up. He'll shoot it in with 1:39 left, and Ranford plays it quickly away to Steve Smith. He has Tikkanen waiting. Rink wide to Curry. McTavish is the third forward. Here's the pass to Tikkanen. He shoots, and it's blocked by Lenasseur. McHale Anderson, as the flow of this game continues back and forth. Anderson tries to split the defense. Tikkanen picks up the loose puck. He goes down, and the pass hit Curry. Dineen ran into Gregg. McHale Anderson slips into Dineen. He couldn't get the puck to Ray Ferraro, and Curry turns the play around. Jari Kurri gave it up to McHale Anderson. Ahead to Dineen, a minute to go in the game. And it's swept right off his stick by Steve Smith. Here's Joe Murphy stepping into that zone. Can't turn on Jennings. Ferraro lifts the puck down the ice. Huddy gives chase. Cunneyworth is right on him. Peter Klima plays it to Messier, and it's taken by Babbage now. You see the time remaining in this game. Francis starts it in. Surrounded by Oilers. Bobs it in deep. Cunneyworth gets to it. Steps away from Huddy. Sends it to Dineen. 20 seconds to go. The pass to Babbage. Pushes it to Cunneyworth. Fires in front. It's off a skate. It bounces to Samuelson. 11 seconds remaining, and Steve Smith has control. Gets it out to Murphy. 6 seconds to go. He'll lob it in wide, and that will do it. Here's the final horn as the Hartford Whalers and the Edmonton Oilers play to another 4-4.